Hey, how are you guys doing? Give me 1 second to double check and make sure that I am live everywhere that I desire to be live. Um, those of you that are new to me, welcome. My name is Beverly Walthour. I am a business strategist specifically for Christian female coaches who are looking to create their at least $30,000 in the next 90 days. I'm also a TV and radio show host. So we film and record the TV and radio show here in Atlanta, GA. So of course, as you guys come on into the live, I always say, like I said, say hi, hello, hey, let me know that you are joining me. Let me know where you're joining me from. And I also love to know what type of coach are you, because with this 3-part series that I'm doing, so I did part 1 yesterday, part 2 today, and then I'll finish up with part 3 tomorrow. I love to give examples. Like I want to give specific examples depending upon what type of coach you are and what type of coaching you do. And, I may even ask you, who do you serve? That type of thing. And so as you guys are hopping on in here, like I said, definitely let me know that you're here. Also, welcome over there on LinkedIn. So as I shared yesterday, I am finally able to go live on LinkedIn. So I really do appreciate that. And, you guys, I always tell you guys, share this out, tag people, let people know, because specifically for my Christian female coaches, because that's who I serve. Those are the people that I serve in my business. And so I certainly want to share this information with you guys. And so I am now all shared out. And so I want to go ahead and dive on into this conversation. So once again, if you missed part 1 yesterday, definitely scroll my news feed to find part 1. And so, yesterday, for whatever reason, although I had the ability, I was notified that I had the ability to go live on LinkedIn yesterday, it wouldn't let me go live. So if you are on LinkedIn, you can see part 1 over on my page over here on Facebook. Now I have LinkedIn on here today. So you guys you'll be able to see part 2 and then part 3 tomorrow. So if you are on LinkedIn and you missed the live that I did, then certainly feel free to hop on over here on Facebook to catch that particular live. So I do apologize for that, but we're rocking and rolling and ready to go. And so once again, this particular series that I'm doing, this 3-part series, is, my clients, when they come to me, they have a revenue goal. They usually have a big revenue goal. And so, they're looking to generate at least $30,000 in 90 days. So my clients have done 35,000, 50,000, 116,000 in 90 days. And so it can be done, but it definitely takes that strategy. It takes consistency. It takes commitment to do that. And so yesterday we talked all about your offer. And so it was 3 key pieces to your offer that we talked about yesterday. So if you're looking to generate at least $30,000 in 90 days, then you want to make sure that you know how to position, package, and price your coaching offer. So like I said, if you missed that, definitely check it out from yesterday. If you can't find it, let me know and I will tag you. I have no issues. I will tag you in it so that you can catch that information from yesterday. And so today, the second part, I really want to talk to you guys about the content that you're putting out there. And so this is something I've had this conversation actually over the past week, like really particular in specific conversations with people about their content. And so you guys, you have to keep in mind that your content is a conversation. So you use your content to have a conversation with your ideal clients. And so you want to look at the content that you put out there. So whether or not the content is on your social media, whether or not it's information that you email to your list, the freebie that you put out there, if you're having, if you're speaking, doing interviews, any of that stuff, that is your content. That is the conversation that you want to have with your ideal client. So I always tell my people, do a quick inventory, do a quick audit to ask yourself, what conversation are you having with your people? So for instance, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I dropped a post in my Facebook group and just said, because with my people being believers, with my people being Christians, we will have the tendency to just drop content that is inspirational and motivational. And so when I work with my clients, they actually get this outline of all this different type of content that you can put out there. And motivational and inspirational and scriptures and stuff, that's just one type of content. And so for a lot of us, though, we put that out there because it's comfortable. Like putting out a scripture or putting out a motivational quote or something like that, it's easy for you to do. It is non-threatening. And when I say non-threatening, I just mean that in the sense of there's no judgment there. there's no rejection there. There's no sense of rejection type of thing. And so we tend to just have that type of content out there. We tend to just put that type of content out there versus us really and truly asking ourselves, is this the only conversation that I need to have with my people? Do my people only need the inspiration or in the motivation, or do they need that content or that conversation, or I even say a swift kick sometimes, to really and truly get them into implementation mode? Because you have to realize that for a lot of your people, they are so used to consuming. They do a lot of consuming. And so if we're not careful, that's all that they end up doing versus actually implementing, versus getting out there and actually, we know as believers, faith without works is dead. So a lot of us, and I say this to my people all the time, that, sometimes we get that church house feeling. And what I mean by church house feeling is, we'll sit in church, and the word is coming and we're amening and oh my goodness, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. But then when we leave church, it's back to the same thing. Like we're not having that application. So you want to ask yourself, how can your ideal clients apply the content that you're putting out there? So once again, if all that you're putting out there is just the motivational and the inspirational stuff, it's like, but how do they apply it? How do they actually take action on what it is that you want them to do? So once again, it's nothing wrong with the inspirational and the motivational stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, but that should not be 90% of the content that you're putting out there. Because, and I say this to people all the time, and I know it hurts some feelings and it steps on some toes, but those of you that know me, hey Kelly, those of you that know me, you know how I am. And I'm okay with I've been called a drill sergeant, I'm called the toe stepper, and I'm okay with being the toe stepping drill sergeant. Like I really am okay with that. And so what you want to keep in mind, like I said, with that content that you're putting out there, you really and truly want it to be content in which people can, when they look at that content or when they read that content, they're like, boom, I want to know more of what Glenda is talking about or what Glenda is doing. Okay, I see Kelly out there. She's talking about an academy that she has, and she's talking about how I can, use this information in this academy to really create the type of business and the life that I desire, that type of thing. Let me go see more of what she's talking about. Versus where, like I said, if you just have that motivational and that inspirational stuff, yeah, when someone reads that, they will feel good for the moment. Just like I said, just like that moment in church. But then when they walk away from that post or that email that you send or the speech that you do, with you doing speaking or whatever, is it enough to get them to change whatever it is that they're doing? Or like I said, or am I just giving them a feel good for right now? And so that's what we want to look at. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with you motivating someone, but once again, you want to make sure that it's actually moving them to action. And so that's where, when it comes to the content that you put out, really look at your content. And so once again, do you have content out there where, once again, someone can do something with it, like actually take an action from that content that you put out there? And I know that there's this formula that's out here that's floating around, give them what they want or something. What is it? To show them the what, but not the how, or whatever it is. And so my thing with that whole thing is, that whole formula, whatever, is, unless you are intentionally, someone hops in Messenger and they're like, hey Bev, I'll use myself as an example. Hey Bev, I'm a business coach. How do I figure out who my ideal client is? Now, someone hops in my Messenger, or even if we're live and someone hops on live and says, well, Bev, how do I figure out who my ideal client is? Yeah, I can say, yeah, your ideal client is usually some form of yourself, or someone that you've helped to get results. But then they say, okay, well, cool. But how exactly do I think? Like, then that moves into something completely different, where it's now coaching. Like, I can't coach somebody during a live session that I'm doing, or even in Messenger. Like, if you're going to sit there and take the time to go back and forth with someone to walk them step by step of how to figure out who their ideal client is, then that has more to do with you than that person, in the sense of, you need to establish boundaries. Like, you need to establish boundaries. Like, you have to let them know, hey, this is something that I share with my clients. We're definitely free to hop on a call to talk about how I may be able to support you. That's how you shut that down. Like, it doesn't take you then hopping on social media and say, oh my gosh, I'm sick and tired of people hopping in my Messenger and asking me, trying to get stuff for free. Like, they tried it. You get to determine whether or not they get that information. So yeah, unless you're actually coaching people like that in your messenger or whatever, then I'm not worried about giving away too much stuff for free. Instead, when I am putting my content out there, and I say this to my people all the time, I'm like, okay, God, what does she need to hear right now? What does she need to hear? Or once again, what was a question that someone asked me? So whether or not it was someone in my Facebook group, whether or not it was a client, why not take the questions that people are asking you and use that for your content? So whether or not it's written content that you put out on social media, or something that you put on your blog, or you email your list, or you hop on and you go live about, use that as content, to answer that person's question. You see what I'm saying? So once again, look at the content that you're putting out there, and you want to ask yourself, how is this furthering the conversation with my ideal clients? How is this contributing to the conversation? Now, of course, we know that there's different types of content out there. Now, sometimes, and I tell people, as a business strategist, I'm very strategic about the content that I'm putting out there. And even if it does not look like it's business related, there's a business component to it, even if it's just for engagement. Or and that engagement could be engagement for business, or it could be engagement so that they get to know me, I get to know them as my community. You see what I'm saying? So when I say it's strategic, it's not a manipulation thing. It's strategic in the sense of there's a reason and a purpose behind it. So once again, it could just be because I want them to get to know more of my personality, or I'm putting out a question out there so that I get to know more about them. So I break my content down into two parts, where either I'm getting to know them, or they're getting to know me, as a person. And then it's content that I put out there that's specifically for me as a business strategist. So they get to know me as an expert. Like if they're really serious about creating at least $30,000 in 90 days, then this is content that I'm putting out there around that, me as the business strategist. Or like I said, it's content that I'm putting out there so that they get to know me, I get to know them. It builds up engagement on my page, stuff like that. So that's what I mean when I say it's strategic. Once again, it's not a manipulation thing. It's strategic in the sense of either I'm getting to know them, they're getting to know me, or they're getting to, personally, or as a business strategist. So you see what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I say you want to make sure that that content that you're putting out there is content, like it's strategic in what it is that you are doing. So make sure that you're putting content out there that is very strategic. So once again, it shows you in that light. It allows for you to be in that situation, like I said, either getting to know you as a person or getting to know you as a business strategist, that type of thing. So I always tell my people, go back and audit. We'll start with your social media. Go back and look at the last 5 posts that you have out there on your page. So whether or not it's your personal page, your business page, if you have a group, so whether or not it's a LinkedIn group, whether or not it's a Facebook group, wherever you are, over there on LinkedIn, over on Instagram, wherever you have conversations with your people, look at the last 5 posts. Do an audit of that. So when you're looking at the last 5 posts, is it telling the story? Does it let your ideal client see you as a human, just as a person? So whether or not you want them to know you as a wife, a mother, a community activist, whatever it is, however you want them to know you personally, is there content out there that where you get to know them and the people that are in your community? And then is there content out there that speaks to you as the expert when it comes to the type of coaching that you do? So you want to make sure that you have that as a mix. So once again, when people are looking at your content, they get a better holistic picture of you, and it's not just one-sided, that type of thing. So like I said, looking at the content that you're putting out there, are you putting content out there consistently? That is another thing as well. Putting content out there where you're consistent with what it is that you're doing. And so I know sometimes that I had a conversation with someone earlier, and she was like, Bev, I feel like I'm doing all the things. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, and it's not yielding the results that I thought that it would yield. At this point, they say I should post this, and I should have this, and I should do this, and all the stuff that I should be doing, and it's not, translating the way that I thought that it would. So either translating with the number of clientels or the amount of revenue that she wishes to have in her account. And so, when I went and looked at her page, like I said, I'm like, this is a couple of different types of posts that you want to have out there, once again, to show that variety, to be able to allow for people to see you in this different light, that type of thing. And so that's why I say, every once in a while, just do that audit of your content that you're putting out there and ask yourself that question. If you notice that you're leaning heavily on promotion, because a lot of you guys, everything out there is just buy my stuff. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Why? Why should I buy my stuff? Who are you? What makes you the expert in what it is that you do? Vary that content. So some of us, we go from one extreme to the other. So either it's a whole bunch of inspirational and motivational stuff, or it's a whole bunch of promo stuff. But you want to make sure that you have that happy balance, in between. So you don't have to go from one extreme to the other. You want to have that healthy balance, that healthy mix of content out there. But like I said, for the most part, a lot of us, we're not on that side of really showing up as the expert. I tell my clients, don't be afraid to talk about your offers. Let people know what your offer is, because remember, your offer should be the solution to what their issue is. So if you know that the people that you serve have a problem, they have a challenge, they have a pain point, whatever word you use with your people, if you know that they have a problem and you know that your offer is the solution, are you letting them know? Are you letting them know that you actually have the solution to their problem? Some of us, we're not doing that. We're not letting them know that we actually have the solution. So my thing is, and I talked about this in my Facebook group the other day, I was talking about a chapter in Second Kings, and they were talking about the good news. And so my thing is, for a lot of your people, your offer, your program is good news to them. Like, they're realizing, oh my gosh, I don't have to sit in this anguish. I don't have to sit in this hell that they're in, whatever hell they're in. They don't have to continue to endure that. So for them to know that you do have a solution for them, that is good news for them. They're like, oh my gosh, finally, I can change my, shift my relationship. I can shift, what's going on in my life or my career or my business or whatever it is. That is good news for them. Are you letting them know that, though? A lot of us are not. So once again, if you haven't talked about your offer, at the time of this recording, it's Wednesday. If you haven't talked about your offer, get out there and talk about your offer. So whether or not it's a written post, it's a blog, an email to your list, you go live, if you're speaking, whatever it is, have a conversation with them about your offer. What is it going to hurt? What is it going to hurt? Hey, Makita. Hey, you're my first LinkedIn person. So like I said, you guys, I just got the news that I'm able to go live on LinkedIn, and Makita is the first person that has joined me from LinkedIn. So cool. So I've had people from all over, so now I feel really good. Hey, Makita, thank you so much for joining us. And so you guys, like I said, definitely just ask yourself and look at your content. And so, if that is something that you're struggling with as far as your content, because one thing that I say to my people is, when you have that clarity on who you serve and how you serve those people, your content should come like that. Like, you should not have an issue with putting that content out there, because it's a conversation. You are having a conversation with your people. You are having a conversation. And so sometimes, if it is a struggle for you when it comes to content, it might be that you need to listen. You need to listen to what it is that they need. So it might not even be a time for you to talk to them. It may be a time for you to put a question out there to see what it is that they need, so that you can now make sure that you're in alignment with what it is that they need. So that could be an issue as well. Okay. So you guys, like I said, I'm doing this 3-part series, just a quick series. I want you guys, I'm telling you, this stuff right here, looking at your content, making sure that your content is speaking to the people that you have been called to serve. This is your conversation. Does your content let your people know who you serve and the results you help them get? That type of thing. So do an audit of your content. Once again, look at the last 5 posts that you put out, the emails that you sent, the blogs that you had, however it is that you're communicating with your people. And look at that. Do that audit to see if you have that nice, healthy mix of content that you are putting out there. Okay. So you guys, that's all that I have for you today when it comes to your content. But make sure, once again, have that powerful content out there. Make sure that it's speaking to your people. Yesterday, we talked about your offer. With your offer, making sure that you package it, price it, and position it in such a way to where you are able to, put an offer out there that actually solves your ideal client's problems. And so today we were talking about the content, because yes, you have this amazing offer, but you want to make sure that you have content that backs up what you say as the expert. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about your leads, being able to generate quality leads, qualified leads, and not only generate the leads, but then how do I close these sales? What do I need to do? You guys, these 3 pieces are key to you generating at least $30,000 in 90 days. Like I said, this is the content where I shared yesterday. I had a client that closed $56,000 in 5 weeks. I've legit had clients do $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 in 90 days. So you guys, the stuff works, but you definitely have to make sure that you're working the system. And when I say working the system, that just means you're out there and you're showing up consistently. Once again, looking at your offer, looking at your content. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about these quality leads, these qualified leads. Where are they? There, people keep saying that they're all around. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. But I promise you right now, in your current audience that you have right now, because some of you guys are, babe, I need a whole new audience. No, you don't. No, you don't. You need to talk to the people who are currently in your audience that might be ideal. And then what you need to do to expand your reach. Yeah, that's definitely something, but you don't need a whole new anything. Not a new audience. That's, you don't need that. So we're going to talk about how you tap into people that are currently in your offer. I say this all the time. You have at least $50,000 right now in your current audience. That's at least. That's at the low end. Some people say up to $1 million right now in your current audience. But do you know how to tap into that? That's the thing. You have to know how to tap into it. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Not just tapping into the leads that are currently in your current audience, but then how to close them in sales. So you certainly want to make sure that you hop on and join us tomorrow. And so you guys, that's all that I have. You guys, I pray that you have an amazing rest of your evening. Of course, if you want to know how I can specifically support you, please let me know. We're opening up round 3 to my accelerator. Is open up. We get started in January. So that is the program that I was talking about, where clients are literally closing in a week, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a week in the accelerator. So you definitely want to, if that's something that you are interested in, we need to have a conversation. But like I said, with my accelerator, you have to have a big revenue goal. Like, you can't go into my accelerator talking about that you want to generate $10,000 in 90 days. Like, that program, that offer is not for you. That's for those people who have a large revenue goal. And then we look at how we will actually achieve that goal in 90 days. So you guys, once again, if you missed yesterday, if you're on Facebook, then it's or on YouTube, then the information is on my page. If you're on LinkedIn, like I said, I couldn't go live yesterday, but you can definitely hop over here on Facebook and find that part 1 to the live series. And I will definitely be back tomorrow with part 3, all about tapping into your current leads, finding those qualified leads in your current audience, and then closing them for the sale. Okay, so you guys, I pray you have an amazing rest of your day. Once again, if you have specific questions for me and how I may be able to support you in your business, feel free to reach out to me so that we can have a conversation. If I'm not a good fit and I know someone that may be a better fit for you as a coach, because I'm definitely not the coach for everybody, I will definitely refer you out if need be. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I will see you on the other side of this live. Take care, take care, take care.